Vandeham Sri Guru.
The following is a conversation with His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on the 13th of August, 1973, in Paris, France.
Sri Rupam Sakrajatam Saharana Raghunathantam Vang Sadivam.
Belfiore and wife, Mrs. Belfiore. Mr. Belfiore is the Inspector General for the French Paris area for the Rosicrucian movement, the Rosicrucian order.
What is that, Rosicrucian?
It's a very big religious movement all around the world. He says our movement is very well known in the United States. Have you never come across our society? No, I don't think...
What is the aim of this movement?
The evolution of man.
Evolution of man. So, man is going to evolve more. What is that ultimate evolution?
To a reintegration of man with the cosmos or cosmic consciousness.
Cosmic consciousness. We also believe individual consciousness and cosmic consciousness. We are now studying this subject matter in our class, Khetra Ga. Khetra Ga, the knower. The individual soul is also knower, conscious, and the super soul, God, is also conscious. So we also admit universal consciousness, that is God's consciousness. Consciousness is limited. So that is the evolution when our consciousness is in agreement with the Supreme Consciousness. That is Krishna consciousness.
He says that the Rosicrucian order is a mystical and philosophical order that allows its students...
Who is Rosen? He's a philosopher.
He says that the term Rosicrucian means it's an image of a cross with a rose in the center. It means that the disciple is aspiring towards the perfection of his consciousness. And that this also means the perfection of consciousness.
So what is the idea of that perfection of consciousness?
He says it is love.
Love, that's nice. Very good. So, the Supreme Consciousness and our individual consciousness, when they are in exchange of love, that is perfection. Is that?
Donc it is that this ultimate consciousness is one of union with the Absolute, that is one of light, of samadhi, of total love. This is the highest
So
state.
love, when we speak of love, there must be two persons. What is their philosophy?
The love of which they are speaking is a love that binds everything together, that bathes everything in light and love.
So there is no action.
No, he says there is action. Il y a d'action, d'activité.
Il y a action.
What are those activities?
Giving.
Giving and taking also.
There is giving, there is also taking, but it's not the person who has achieved this ultimate perfection. Whenever he takes, he immediately gives it to someone else.
That's all right. The transaction between two lovers, one gives, another takes. Sometimes one gives, another takes, another gives, one takes. This is exchange. Similarly, feeding. I give something to my beloved to eat something. He or she gives me something, I eat also. Similarly, I disclose my confidence unto my beloved. My beloved also discloses her or his confidence. These are loving exchanges.
He says that he understands that we're talking of love meaning two people, but does that mean that why can't we think of love in terms of an exchange between man and everything, between man and the cosmos?
Yes, yes. Cosmos represents, as he says, consciousness. That is the person consciousness. Just like if I love a tree, I love the leaves and twigs also. If I pour water on the root of the tree, it goes to the leaves, twigs, branches automatically. So if we love the Supreme Consciousness, Supreme Person, who has got universal consciousness, then automatically my service goes to everyone.
This is also what their philosophy is, he said.
So you cannot love everyone and anyone or everything without finding out the original source of everything.
The Rosicrucian order is a school that teaches its students to progress step by step towards that ultimate source of all sources.
So what is that step? What is that step?
It says it's a gradual process that their students come, they receive initiation, and then they are guided. They're given certain principles, certain practices, and then gradually, at their own rate, by their own powers, they ultimately arrive at perfection.
So what is that ideal of perfection?
That it is nirvana, it is the kingdom of Lord Jesus Christ. It says it is the ultimate point from which for which all men are ultimately striving.
Well, what is that? Nirvana means zero. Everyone is trying for zero.
Nirvana means something different for them.
What is that?
He says it is an entering into something that is alive and real.
Nirvana, this word is Sanskrit word. Nirvana means finish.
For them, the word nirvana means an end, but an end to this material existence and an entrance into the silence of the absolute, into a plan, onto a level that is real, whereas this one is false, this one is objective.
Why silence?
Pourquoi la silence? He says the term entering into silence is a mystic term that means
He cannot explain.
it's undescribable because it's something that's arrived at inside through meditation. You can't really describe it in words.
Why? You are describing so many things in words, and the ultimate goal you cannot describe.
He says that many great masters like you from the East tend to smile at their explanations, but
They tend to smile when this question is asked, who am I? So what can I say compared to these
That means
masters?
his knowledge is not perfect.
Knowledge is not perfect, and like us, he's simply trying for perfect knowledge.
So unless you have got your goal perfectly known, how you can make progress?
Their organization is the guru, and their whole organization knows the ultimate goal which they can attain.
And he is part of that organization, he does not know.
It says that evolution of man, which is the goal of this order, is something that is mystical, that is not scientific, that is so easily.
And that means it is vague, it is not distinct.
see, he's surprised that we raised such objections. He thought that we were also searching for something mystical. He says he's heard our chanting. He said he thought we were also searching.
No, we have got different goal, Krishna. We have got different goal, Krishna. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He has got his form, he has got his place, he has got his name, he has got his pastime, and he wants to enter in that kingdom.
He says that he thinks, he thought that in our movement we were following Ramakrishna, who had discovered everything.
No, Ramakrishna I pick out. We don't.
He says he's not familiar personally with him.
Ramakrishna is bogus.
He says that this is not a new order, this Rosicrucian order. It goes back at least as far as ancient Egypt.
That's all right, but he do not know what is the aim of this progress.
He says all he can do is repeat to you his answer previously, which is that it's to reach the perfection of consciousness, at which point man is in communion, in unity with the beyond. He calls it the Sula, the inexplicable.
But he cannot express what is that beyond.
It's divine consciousness.
But he cannot describe what is God. That is imperfect knowledge.
He says a communion with God is something that is subjective. It's something you experience, not that you describe.
That is not perfect.
He says that according to every individual's place of birth, his age, his upbringing, he will experience this communion with God differently.
No. God is God. The experience will have to be taken from God. Then it will be equally possibility for everyone.
He says that he says what they are looking for in the Rosicrucian order is the ultimate realization when all of these other relative communions with God will disappear, and there'll be one common realization, experience of God.
Yes, that's all right, but if you cannot describe what is the ultimate goal, then how others will be attracted?
In their society, they have many different religions, many different groups, and they don't ask anyone to leave being Christian or Jew or Muslim or Hindu or anything like that.
No, we are not asking in that way. We are asking what is that ultimate goal.
Ultimately, by following the process that the Rosicrucian order gives its students,
That's
one
right.
reaches a goal.
Suppose if I am going to London, so unless I am interested to go to London, what is the use of knowing how to go to London?
Their students feel the need for this ultimate perfection, and that's why they come to the movement.
But if he does not know what is the ultimate perfection, this is bogus.
Realization of God.
Then that's all right. Just like if I say that if you do like this, you can get $1 million, but you know what is the value of $1 million, then you endeavor. But if you don't know what is that $1 million, why should you endeavor?
All of their students, they know the value of realizing God in their heart.
How do they know?
They are already people who are aspiring after a richer, more spiritual life.
What is the spiritual life?
High spiritual values, the things of the young people.
It's just simply words. What is the spiritual life? Why you want to know? It's useless.
C'est la méditation profonde, il n'y a pas d'autre nom, la méditation, le
He says
samadhi.
when God, he's just using a lot of
And he
names.
is simply speaking. He does not know what is the aim, what is the goal, what is
Le
spiritual
maître dit
life.
parlez beaucoup, mais
Tangible knowledge of everything, what I ask. As I ask you what is spiritual life, he cannot describe. Distinguish between spiritual life and material life.
We can have spiritual realization and still live in the material world.
But what is the spiritual life? What is the distinction between spiritual life and material life? What is the goal? He cannot define what is spiritual life.
demande quelques définitions. How does a person who's realized this perfection live?
Yeah.
Tolerant. Above all, he is tolerant.
Tolerance. Spiritual life. That is also spiritual life. That's all. So, in their way of spiritual life, what are the process? There must be some process, definite process.
That comes when you become initiated in a movement. They give you the process for arriving at this tolerance.
Well, that's all right. But suppose I want to enter, so you must give me some formula that you have to do this, like this. Otherwise, how can I enter?
Many different techniques, but ultimately they're really all the same because they lead to the same conclusion.
Techniques. Let
No.
him say some of the techniques.
He says the first thing is that we have to awaken our internal consciousness, which is 90% asleep.
Huh?
He says the first thing is that you have to reawaken your consciousness, which is asleep. 90% of it is
So
asleep.
what is the process? Then how can I accept it? I cannot enter into some vague thing.
All these systems have to do with meditation, concentration, things that will reawaken your consciousness.
What is the object of meditation?
Different objects, many different.
But tell one of them.
The body, for example. He says that there's the eternal meditation number 3. The eternal.
What is the number 1?
Well, he says that this one is one that's basic. It's given to all their students.
Number 3. No number 1.
It was to say that he would meditate on the number 3, and this was that you would wake up the consciousness in your body starting from the tips of your toes and working up like this. And it may seem easy to you, but all the great masters of the Orient have taught this, and no one can succeed without doing this.
That means their knowledge is not perfect. This is our bogus. Meditate on the body, what you gain?
To wake up your psychic consciousness, which is sleeping inside this body.
But he tells you, what is the process?
Well, meditation number 3 is to... Okay, he says he would like to talk to you a little bit about a book he's reading which describes how the Russians have just discovered the soul. They've photographed the soul, he says.
No.
And
the aura.
the aura of the soul. How they have... The Russians have found the soul, and they've described all the different phenomena of parapsychology and extrasensory perception, and he said it's an incredible book when the Russians have made great discoveries, and he wanted to...
But that he hasn't finished it
He
yet.
hasn't finished the book yet. But
C'est-à-dire,
That is Russian. I am asking him about his.
he says that the Rosicrucians, they know what is the duty of human life.
What is that?
The goal is a state of Christic consciousness, nirvana, call it what you will.
c'est l'état le
That
plus...
cannot be described.
Vision is an understanding that is beyond, 1,000,000 times beyond our understanding.
Beyond understanding, how can I accept it?
He said all that understanding, and it is translated onto the objective level.
I do not understand whom to love. How can I love?
This is in the heart of everyone. Simply it is a question of repressing the false ego, for not eliminating the old man, the false ego.
Yes,
I'm not quite sure. And he says that he says he doesn't understand why you're objecting. He says love is in the heart of everyone.
You ask me to love. I want to know whom I shall love.
Il pose encore like loves everyone.
Everything.
Love, a mystic, he loves everything.
Is there any example?
Avez-vous an example is this, the master of their movement. He was supposed to come, but he was on vacation. But the grand master of their movement, he says, is one example.
Now, suppose to love everyone. That means you love the animals also. Community allow animal killing.
When you come into the movement, there are no regulations required of you. But little by little, it comes to that point. The experiences that they give their students in the movement, for a short period of time, they're required to give up intoxication, meat, and things like that. But it's not permanent.
And then they can take.
Yes, afterwards.
So why in the beginning stop?
Christian order doesn't force anything, doesn't make you do anything. People that join this organization, only 7 succeed.
Then it cannot be preached among the mass of people.
Some people, when they just can't make it anymore, they just
Fall
drop
away.
out.
But he
It's
says
all
that
the time.
happens. That everyone.
La pyramide monte
He
toujours.
says all movements experience the same thing.
What is that?
That 100 out of 100 people.
100 people, but the ideal must be there. One may follow or not follow.
The order doesn't reject anyone.
Huh?
Says their order doesn't reject anyone.
I think whether their order approves animal killing.
There are no restrictions. The order doesn't require.
Then let us stop here. No, first time.
Okay. He doesn't like the idea of killing animals, and he has advised that to friends.
But what is the idea of the order? That
L'idéal de votre love between men, understanding.
Why, what the animals have done, no brother would do that.
Et les animaux, pas de
Si,
fraternité.
mais j'aime beaucoup les animaux. J'ai beaucoup d'animaux chez moi. Si un jour vous venez chez moi,
Oh,
vous
he says
verrez
he loves the
beaucoup
animals. He
d'animaux.
has many animals living with him.
He's surrounded by animals, he says.
That's too nice. A person who is habituated to kill animals, so willingly admitted in the order.
I think that someone who kills animals would like to enter, but if a butcher wants to enter, that's okay. But gradually they'll elevate him.
On principle, the order does not allow animals to.
Ideally,
Yeah, we
they
know
would
that.
rather not see anyone killed.
Huh?
Ideally, on an ideal level, the movement would not want to see animals killed or anyone killed.
Il faut comprendre que l'ordre est une école pour aider l'homme à évoluer.
Principles, rules and regulations are the order.
No, their principles are love, beauty, harmony, peace.
There are no rules, but as you progress, one initiation after another initiation, if you start out as a butcher, then gradually in your own self you will wish to give it up. But there are no rules.
One initiation after one initiation, there is no progressive rules.
That are steps. But the order itself doesn't require that you give up meat eating at any point. He says he thinks that the people themselves would probably give it up in the higher stages. He says that their order is it has a very smart way of doing things. That if it were to try and tell people, don't do this, don't do this, don't do that right away, no one would join them. So they don't say that. You see? Quotes a passage from St. Paul, who said, if you go and visit someone who's a meat eater, don't trouble him, accept meat with him. The real mystic is someone who has controlled his body.
That he cannot explain how to control the body.
If it happens right away, it'll happen in a while.
At least I can accept it. There is definite program. If I want to enter your association, you must give me some prescription, which if I follow, I make progress. That is
Si
another.
je veux entrer dans votre
But what, you have
association,
no prescription.
Grand Master, your request for a specific prescription to be given to you.
They'll send in your
He
application.
hasn't got,
We have to make one special just for you.
but not for general people.
Yogeshwar explained the 4 principles to this man. So the man said, yes, very good, sometime we can get to that too, but it's something that on our own we accept personally, just like you yourself, your divine grace, you have come to this by accepting it yourself.
In other words, these are nice principles that you're following, and we're sure that you've come to these conclusions on your own. And maybe one day we'll come to those conclusions on our own also. There's something that's self-initiated, these regulative principles. And so
For the time being, there is no such rules in their order.
make certain suggestions, but it doesn't oblige anyone to follow those suggestions.
So what is the suggestion?
No, the movement suggests that people live a life as perhaps yours is, of purity and pure thoughts and moral living and even following
But
certain
these
principles.
things are there, but they don't say. Suppose a man is killing animals, they don't prohibit him. That is immoral life. But if they don't prohibit him, then how he can become moral? Killing of animals and morality will go together.
It's an order that likes very much the ideals of beauty and harmony and morality, but they can't see imposing on anyone these things. I guess their idea is that you can't impose beauty and morality on anyone. You can't insist that anyone stop killing. You can't tell anyone forcibly not to do this or not to do that. That these are things that you have to realize.
But is there such rules and regulation or injunction from the society that we do not kill? Just like Bible, there is, we shall not kill. So they have no such thing.
Says Jesus
Vous
ate,
avez tué des plantes, cette plante elle a souffert lorsqu'elle a été cueillie.
so Jesus ate meat, and furthermore there's a sect in the Orient that wears gauze over their mouth so as not to kill microbes while they breathe, but we are killing those microbes. We have killed these
So
flowers.
they have to satisfy everyone.
Don't you think we're killing other living beings?
And that is another thing. They haven't got their own anything. Simply they are studying.
Not important, realization is what counts.
But that he cannot explain what is the realization. Who cannot describe, then what is the realization?
He says he's only 49 years old.
Huh?
He says he's only 49 years old. He can't describe for you.
Dites au maître, j'ai perçu
He knows
quelque
the
chose
Rosicrucian
d'autre.
order is good because everything he has attained in his life, he owes to the order. So he knows it's good by what he has attained.
That's all right. But I think for mass of people, unless they have got some idea, how they can join, that is my mind.
Think, who am I? Where do I come from? Where am I going?
That is right.
Ah, bon,
C'est mieux.
voilà.
Realize what he is.
Had not realized something, he would never have come to know.
No, then therefore he can describe what he is.
He says when Moses saw the burning bush and he asked the fire, who are you? The fire said, I am what I am. That's who I am. That's a question that you're going to have to answer by your own meditations.
But what is his meditation? What he has done?
And to realize, which he has realized a little bit, is peace. And when you join up, you get a letter back. And at the bottom of the letter says, with our best wishes for your peace.
But that's all right. Everyone wants that. But what is the process?
Mais le processus. Praying, courage.
My faith.
A serious order would never guarantee instantaneous illumination.
No, that also is.
Buddhism-
But we must have the program. Just like he says that, who am I? At least one must know who he is. And this vague reply is, I am what I am. If I ask you, you come. Who are you, sir? Then he says,
Et si vous...
I am what I am.
Je
Is
suis
that
qui
the
je
proper
suis.
answer?
Est-ce que ça c'est une réponse satisfaisante?
What is nonsense answer? If I ask you,
Si,
so who are you? If he says, I am what I am, is that the proper answer?
Forms, his identity is
Il a même.
Maurice
oui,
Bellafiore.
c'est notre identité. C'est...
But the interior, that reality is different.
Mais notre réalité, notre...
We all join up here now in silence and we enter into ourselves and create one person, then we will know who we are from that silence.
But how it is possible to become silent?
Many, many births and deaths.
That's all.
Mohanam,
That's all. That's all.
all